welcome to Truth Talkin Thursday. This is Jim. I'm Jane. I sat down on my balcony with a cup of coffee at 10:30 in the morning, and I began to feel guilt for doing it and thinking, wow, you really should do something. And I'm thinking, whoa, excuse me? So it made me think, last time Jim and I were together and we were chatting, Jim had a really interesting thought, a couple of them actually, and he said, is what I decided to do today worth it? Because I used all of my time doing it. Me, I tend to obsess and worry and overanalyze, overthink, instead of just relaxing and enjoying the moment. That's something that I need to work on.
I think we all do.
So when you express that thought, Jim, what would be your advice for us to make sure that we actually do spend our days doing things that are worth it?
You have to decide, first of all, you have to decide what's worth what. I mean, is it worth it to me? How does it add to the quality of my life? Does it add to the challenges that I'm successful at handling if I do this or if I do that?
So does it change?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
What's
sure
worth it changes?
Well,
what changes it?
You do.
By what? Circumstances?
You place a value on everything you do. Everything we do. I mean, if you go to the store to get groceries, there's a value to doing that. Well, what's the value? Well, you're going to eat tonight.
Yes,
that's the value.
You are.
Is that important? Yeah. And my four kids are thinking, geez, that's a value too, Mom, or Dad.
When my son opens up the fridge and says, oh, there's actually food in here.
There's actually food in there. There's value to that.
Yeah, that is a value.
I think I got thinking about this fairly. It's not that I didn't consider it before at certain times in my life, but I think recently it's probably much more important to me now that I do this on a day-to-day basis, and I've been doing that for a while now. And one of the things, as you were asking, is about how do you do that? How do you put value on what you're doing? How do you? So I think it's a really important question. But how, if this was the last day of your life, how would you spend it?
Yeah.
How would you spend it? And
you sure as shooting wouldn't spend it going to work or...
not particularly. If there was something else you wanted to do that was important to you, or if this was the last week of your life and you knew that ahead of time, how would you spend those 7 days?
Okay, well, you can't live your life as if it's your last day. Like, you do have obligations. You have to work, you have to make money, you have to pay your bills, blah, 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 blah.
So how important is that to you? Because you're gonna exchange a day of your life for what you choose to do that day. Because once this day hits midnight, it's gone forever.
Yeah.
You cannot get it back. When you look back on it, can you honestly say to yourself, that was a good day and it was worth what I did? Whether it was went to work and earned a living that day, whether it was go and visit an old friend that you hadn't seen for a long time, whether it was
sitting on the balcony with a cup of coffee in the sun.
Absolutely. And if you deemed that to be more important for you than anything else at the time, then you do it. But the key is you do it guilt-free. But you won't enjoy your life. You won't enjoy what you're doing. You won't enjoy your existence from day to day. What primed me to get to this place yet again is fairly recently I've received some information that wasn't the best. Not quite sure where it's all going and all that sort of thing, but what it did create for me was if, and the big if, right? The big if is what? Well, if something happens here and you don't have as much time on the planet as you thought you did, how's that going to be for you? Mm-hmm. Can you honestly go back and look at your life and say, for the most part,
you've done good.
It was pretty good. You have to be able to make decisions in terms of what has value to you and what's it worth for you. so that you can, every day you can do something. It might be going to work for the day, but at the end of the day, I'm going to come home and I'm going to do this. We need to think in terms of, if I do this today, if I do what I'm got to do or planning to do or whatever, is it worth a day of my life in exchange for it? Because that's what you're giving up.
Yes. And could we, for maybe those of us that aren't in a financial position where we could say, well, you know what I really need right now is to go to the beach and spend some time at the ocean. That's what I need.
Mm-hmm.
For those of us that maybe can't afford that, can we find something here like we just discussed? Can we say, okay, I'm going to do what I need to do today, but when I'm done, this and this and this will have made my day worthwhile.
Yeah. And for the trip to the beach, that's just a discipline thing. So every day you come home, you throw your loose change in a jar. And once a month you get out your loose change, you find out how much you got. It's found money, and you go and do whatever you can afford to do with the money that you got in the jar.
Mm-hmm.
The trick is just don't empty the jar halfway through because you're out of smokes.
You know, I think a really great way to work your way through that. Nobody's denying that there is definitely, responsibilities that we have in this life. With it being summer, there's lawn mowing, there's flower beds, there's
never shortage of things.
There's always things that we can do and should be doing. The biggest thing, and Jim stated this right at the beginning, is to know what you value. What makes your life worth it? What will make your life worth it? And I think a lot of us lose sight of that along the way, and that's where the whole schmozzle and dissatisfaction comes for most of us. Many of us, I should say.
We get caught up in what we should do as opposed to thinking and deciding about what we could do.
Correct.
Simple as that. I get up in the morning and I decide what that day is worth to me. And am I prepared to spend a day of my life for it? And if I am, I can go and do it guilt-free. And if I'm not prepared to exchange a day of my life for what I'm doing, then it's probably not the right thing for me to be doing. I'll do something else.
Yeah.
That's it. We have to get to the place where we're able to think about it in those terms and make those decisions. That's it. And if you do, you're gonna have a better, more happy, rewarding, satisfying living excitement and a living experience. That's it. More often you're going to do what you want as opposed to do what you have to.
A lot of us experience in the busy hustle of day-to-day life, a lot of us experience a lack of focus, frustration, and a feeling that something is not right, something's amiss, and we're missing peace. And I really feel like when you are in tune with yourself and when you are clear on what your principles, your moral compass, what determines worth and value in your life, that's when you will find the peace that you're looking for. And that's when you will be able to focus and you won't be frustrated. And I think those are the things we have to sort through.
Here's a bonus question for you, folks. Who's the most important person you know? And if you have to think about it any longer than 10 or 15 seconds, that's part of the problem. I'm the most important person I know. Because if I don't take care of me first, I can't take care of the people that I love. I can't. So I've got to take care of me so that I can look after my loved ones, my family, my children, my grandchildren, and all that kind of stuff, my friends, whoever happens to be. It's as simple as that. Do what you got to do to take care of yourself first.
Because you're worth it.
Absolutely. Just make sure you're willing to give a day for it.
So have a great week, everybody.
Thanks for stopping by.